it is appropriate at the moment to discuss about the role of community radio, which is a decentralized structure emerging in the ICT sector. See, ICT should not be controlled by the government. It should not be centralized. It should be more and more decentralized. Before I share some of my experiences, I'll share I'm a professor of economics from IIT Kanpur. But I worked on disasters. My PhD dissertation was related to floods in the Brahmani system, Brahmani and Maharati. So if you ask me that my specialization was in floods, I have studied all floods actually, not only in Odisha. During my tenure at IIT Kanpur, I have also studied the flood behavior in Kosi Plains through some for students, and also the flood behavior in UP, because I lived in UP for 35 years. And not only that, even if I was in IIT Kanpur from 75 onwards, as I am from Odisha, whenever there was a natural disaster, I was always there in Odisha. What are the types of disasters that I have participated as a volunteer? I think as a volunteer, I'm part of your community. Community radio is a part of volunteership. Take for instance, I have first participated as a student volunteer in 1968-69 when I was a student at Ramsa College, Cuttack. That time, the first cyclone that we have experienced, that is southern Odisha, the Gopalpur beach, which I visited in 67-68, was a very good beach. The entire beach was washed out because of the first cyclone we experienced. During earlier we had cyclones, recent years I'm saying, 68-69 there was a cyclone in, not basically the coastal, like in Puri and Cuttack and Bhubaneswar area, or in the Baleswar and Bhadrak area, but the entire coastal area is susceptible to cyclone. It was the southern part of Odisha. I had worked for mitigation measures as a student volunteer. And what is my message I told all of you basically? What I observed actually? I looked into all the posters before coming because time was given 2 o'clock. I reached here 2 o'clock and the session started around 3 o'clock. So I went outside, looked at all the posters. All the posters are there. If you categorize them, they're dealing with livelihood of the people. They're dealing with the health sector issues. They're dealing with the education sector, including teaching of maths to the students, and health and hygiene, and also green development. No poster has dealt, no poster is dealing with a disaster or cyclone or any disaster. When I say disaster, even a fire in a village is a disaster. Earthquake is a disaster, major disaster. Floods are disasters. Cyclones are disasters. And in addition to our experience, in 2009, suddenly there was a tornado in Rajkanika. It's a typical tornado situation. Localized, central, few villages only. And what disaster in that area. What is my role and what is my experience there? Let me share my experience. And why should I say something is missing in that debate? I would like to fill the missing link. And what is that missing link? And that I'll say from my experience. 1999 super cyclone, and even 82 when there was a flood in Odisha. Maharati system had a severe flooding in 1982. And since I was in IIT Kanpur and I was always associated with some of the organizations, voluntary organizations, I participated in the relief operation on behalf of IIT Kanpur. What I had observed at that time, I visited all the flood affected area of Cuttack district. The message, I think media, what I'm saying, what I had observed in the field, what was given in the media, there was a mismatch. I'll not name anybody. I had gone to Paradip area. I had gone to the interior of all the interior places I visited that time. What I find, radio has been used as an instrument of biasing the relief operations 1919 super cyclone. 1982 when I came, since I knew the flood area, they tried, politicians also use that. Media is being used, politicians want their money to cyclone to shift it to, like all the relief materials should go to their area. They use the media highlights, newspaper cutting, they look at this. But when I go to the area, I see a big gap there. So what I have said, media is not unbiased. I'm a critic of media also. My experience as Vice Chancellor of the leading university for 3 years, I have a bitter experience with the media. Media does not give anything positive about I think Professor Das is here, my professor of sociology from my university. He knows how I handled the media at that time. A leading editor, I asked him, he's a friend of mine. I said, why are you giving all negative things about the university? Do you know what is the reply? He said, "Aap kyun worried hai?" Basically, media negative is about the Vice Chancellor. He said, "Aap worried kyun hai? हम थोड़ा सेंसिटाइज पेपर में नहीं लगेंगे, लोग पढ़ेंगे कौन? आपको पर्सनली हम अटैक नहीं कर रहे हैं. Personally, I'm a friend, I know that whatever comes." So what am I saying? Sometimes the mass media, the media that we are using is biased thing. In a critical situation like this, maybe community radio, which covers a small area, which is locally managed, can play a lead role. But what is missing there also, in the mitigation, particularly whenever there is a disaster, two things, either disaster preparedness, you have to play a role. During the disaster, you can play a role. And after disaster, you can play a role. What Nihar has presented is a nice thing. I think that's the only presentation I find, that during the riot in Bhadrak, you had intervened. You had played a positive role. And that role has to be confined to locally. That's a local issue. It doesn't have to highlight in the national. See, local issue has to be handled by the local people. That will be more effective. Local people should participate, decide what is the alternative, how to mitigate. So that should be undertaken. 1919 super cyclone, I have visited almost all areas from IIT Kanpur. On behalf of IIT Kanpur, we have arranged. In fact, IIT Kanpur was listed at that time in the white paper of government Odisha. We have decided in IIT Kanpur that everybody wanted that we want an income tax rebate, so money should go to Prime Minister Relief Fund. I argued with my director. Anything which goes to the Prime Minister Relief Fund, your money will not reach the people. There is no point of giving relief to the Prime Minister Fund for income tax concession. Let us all collect money that we should collect from our community. For information, IIT Kanpur had a community radio long back in 1968 we have started. A professor of physics wanted in the lab first. When I was a student in 1975, that they experiment in the lab. Then, in fact, presently IIT Kanpur is running a community radio station. And they are using for like education purposes and sometimes also for agriculture in the nearby area, surrounding area. And sensitizing the volunteers, NGOs also. 1999 super cyclone, then when we decided, look at how the positive role played by the media. Since we gave the message, of course, we used our internet and email and other messages and Facebook also. We got a lot of support from our community, including our alumni. And we decided all the money that we'll collect will convert in kind in Kanpur, distribute to the people directly, which we have done through the volunteers, so faculty and students. What is the effect? I'm giving one example. Blankets came during super cyclone in 1999, came from Australia. One of my friends was the Deputy Relief Commissioner, Special Relief Commission. I asked him. They said, these are very good blankets. Only 1,000 blankets are come. Lakhs of people have been affected. Whom to give? I went to the market to buy the blanket from IIT Kanpur. IIT Kanpur had credibility in the market in Kanpur. The price, which was 400 rupees, if government buys normally, you know, they'll say, sir, आप government rate में cash में लेंगे. Government billing होगा, उसमें commission charge करते हैं, तो इसलिए 400 rupees, like that, which is like in that say my blanket, they'll quote at 700 or 600. If you buy it, Market actually, its price is 400, but since we say that it is for relief operation, they said, sir, all the blankets that we give to you are 250 rupees per piece. Medicine, I remember one medicine that we said medicine we want to buy from market actually. So, after the flood actually, that diarrhea, other diseases will land, and particularly we say that I will not buy the generic medicine, we'll buy basically the vitamins we don't comment on supply, and also the ORS packets. ORS packet and the medicine, I went to the wholesale medicine market. He said, sir, sit down here. He packed me 26,000 one packet, 26,000, cost was 26,000. He charged me 10,000. Particularly the ORS packet, I remember, it was sold in the market 10 rupees. It was billed for 2 rupees 50 paisa. In the 10 rupees, it's 2 rupees 50 paisa. So whole thing that we converted in kind, truck loaded, Ravenshaw College at a camp office. We have not given anything to any government organization. I have never gone by the mass media. Directly we have distributed the people. So in the situation like this actually, but what are the problem? The problem is getting which area is the most affected. Everybody was telling me my area is most affected. Come and distribute relief my area. Because of my experience on floods, I knew the entire landscape. I decided I will go of my own directly. The district master was very happy. Sir, you have done a good thing. You have not come to us. If you have come to us, we would have a pressure. You have used your knowledge, you have gone directly, distributed relief. That is a good thing that you have done. So what am I saying that, whom have I used? I've used the NSS. I think one thing, what am I saying, I'm submitting all of my friends here. As an academician, as Prof. Vice Chancellor of the university, that my youth were part of, I have played a role as NSS volunteer in 1967. And the NSS activity that whatever we have played relief that we have distributed in 1992 through the volunteers, NSS volunteers of Ravenshaw College. They associated with us. During my 10 years as Vice Chancellor, most of the activity, including fire, I decided, let me give you an example of tornado. There was suddenly a tornado in Rajkanika. And my student NSS volunteers, immediately they sprung into action. They have gone and they worked to the people. My NSS coordinator said, sir, our students are working. If you go and visit them and encourage them, they will be happy. I said, next day I had a meeting. I was chief guest of the inaugurated medical, like a conference. It was a 5-star hotel. Normally I don't like 5-star hotels, 5-star culture. So I decided, as the principal medical college, that I am not going for this. I am going to address my student volunteer, work with them, join with them. Luckily, the Revenue Divisional Commissioner was my student from IIT Kanpur. I rang him. He said, sir, I cannot accompany you, but the collector will go and report to you there. We had gone there. What have I seen? Absolutely, there is no coordination between the NSS volunteer work. Government has not worked in. NSS volunteer gone and helped the people, distribution relief. I had taken something from my side, we distributed relief. But government doesn't recognize what role being played by them. There's absolutely no coordination. I think NGOs, role of NGO, again remember, to me actually the NGO is a stakeholder. If any disaster that you find, all of us are stakeholders. And we must participate. And to me actually, it is the youth power which has to be roped in first. My university, all my university, even today in Odisha, I know that we have 3 wings in the colleges. We don't use it. I think your community radio services also. Ansari, are you using the students from your local college? Are you using them? In the college, you have NSS volunteers, you have NCC, you have Red Cross. Odisha at the moment, there are more than 150,000 students are enrolled in these activities. Let us rope in them in all disasters. In fact, educating the people through them to disaster preparedness is an important thing. Firework, I have participated in, there's a Kamakhana, there's a fire. I decided I'll go with my volunteer for firework. Similarly, floods. I think 3 years of my tenure as Vice Chancellor, whenever there's a disaster, I was the first person to go to the site along with my student for relief operation. Not only relief, we want restoration. For restoration work, actually, during my tenure in 19 super cyclone, we adopted a village. What have I done in the village? Actually, the most affected village in Paradip area. And we decided that one time we gave them some blankets and other things, immediate relief measures, but we decided sustainable for 10 months I want to support them. So what we decided, my son who joined the service in 99, he said, I will give 500 every month as my scholarship money. You give to one family. So I decided, let's all start, my wife and two of my sons, 4 families that will support. But I shared it with my other friends. 26 families you could support. Every month I used to collect money, send by money order. Because one time you give the money, it will go to consumption stream. And particularly after, and I monitored it and followed it for 1.5 years. We wanted a plantation also, and that we have done through the money agency. So my submission here is that community radio, localized community, what is the local community radio actually? Presently, our governance structure is based on decentralized structure. We must have a decentralization. Similarly, information communication technology decentralized, has to be decentralized. And community radio is the best means of decentralized structure. But whenever the NGOs are playing, basically what's happening, the NGOs should also rope in the younger peoples. My submission to all my friends who's here, rope in, not a single young person is here. I always, wherever I go, I always tell people, that where are the youth? They are burgeoning youth. 65% of our population is below 35 years of age. I don't think not a single person here is below 35 years. So basically what my message is that try to rope in them. See, we are not, they are the people who have to take charge from you. They are the people who has to share the information among the people. And they are basically, you know, how this, the fireworks, they have stopped through the student children. That during the Diwali, that if school teaches no cracker, the children go to the parents, they say no cracker will be used. Same thing, I think, basically what I'm saying, you should know what are the, through community radio, mitigation, that basically preparedness. If there is a, nowadays what is happening that somebody was paying a presentation, hood. In fact, people got file in super cyclone, one of the positive things that has happened in the super cyclone, post-super cyclone effect. That's when diarrhea deaths were nil. NGOs have played ActionAid, Oxfam, I worked with them at that time. I think everybody has played a major role. And post-cyclone, post-super cyclone, productivity also increased. Land productivity had increased. Bumper harvest in the Rabi season. Whenever there is a like flood, now there is a flood. Moment there is a flood, moderate flood, always welcome to the people. Floods are not only have a negative effect, flood have a positive effect. I think community radio must also focus on that. After flood, what are the crops they can grow? That should be taught to them. Which crop rotation they should undertake, that should be taught to them. Not for the, basically now the flood, suppose it's your like rice cultivation, rice or paddy has been destroyed actually. After the floods, what are the crops they can grow in the localized area? Localized crop we must work out. So I think basically, particularly again when there is a riot, I think a riot situation, young people can play a best role. Through community radio, reach them. Younger masses, children, including the school children, they are the people who can send a message. So whenever we talk about community radio, not only will teach them education, mathematics I've seen, give them the one that, what are the warnings? If there is a, like suppose there is a disaster, we say forecast there is a flood, what precaution measure they should take? When the flood has come, how should they face it? What are the mitigation measures? All these things are listed through community radio and propagated even before. So you should know that during monsoon the floods will come. Before monsoon, propagate what are the preventive measures one should take. Basically preparedness. And then after this actual disaster, mitigation measures we should also follow. So I think all the expense that I have in filing actually, who did already, Odisha, in fact the super cyclone period, it's a, Odisha government could not face it. Andhra government has a handset radio. Communication network was not there actually. It's government of Andhra. They came to the rescue of government of Odisha through the communication network was restored through their help. That is a community radio concept actually. So if you have community radio in Paradip at that time or in Konark, good have link. Ham radio set, that is an important thing. So these are some of the things we should also use. And tornado situation, I think I'll conclude by saying that 99 super cyclone, how it has become effective. Mass media has played an effective role. I'll share one of these experience of an old lady and then conclude my speech. In IIT Kanpur that we had collected all the relief materials we sent by truck, 2 trucks load came here. Our volunteers and teachers, I came earlier, they all came with some other materials. The day they have to board the train, a lady came to my house. I look at the information from a surrounding village, a lady came to my house. Audience, not my very high family, middle class lady. He said, बेटा आप कोई सुना कि गरीब लोगों के लिए उड़ीसा में जो साइक्लोन हुआ है आप कुछ ले रहे हैं? हाँ ले रहे हैं. वो कहता हम भी कुछ देंगे आपको. हमने कहा ठीक है. वो कहता हम बेटा हम घर जा रहे हैं ला के देंगे आप जरा हमारा तरफ से इसको ले लीजिए. जब वो I thought that he must be getting some packet something I will carry it when I will come. Then I found she came with a rickshaw load of articles, materials. I asked the lady, माता जी रिक्शा का पैसा हम दे देंगे. Do you know what reply she gave? बेटा नहीं हम तो गरीब है लेकिन जिन लोगों के लिए आप ले रहे हैं वो ज़्यादा गरीब है. ये पैसा भी हम दे देंगे आप मत दीजिए. And since he came with a rickshaw load of things, I said that how to carry. Basically, the train was like basically they have left. So I packed it and put in my own car. Came to the railway station, delivered to my volunteers. I said, carry it. When I will go to Odisha, I will distribute it. So this is what I am saying. That mass radio communication has an important role to play for disaster mitigation and disaster management also. Even disaster management, I think another experience that I'll share. I was traveling one day by Rajdhani Express from Delhi to Kanpur. A lady came as a foreign lady. So just we discussed about Odisha and what am I doing, what are the activities. Finally she said, I don't find any NGO will be better than you. Can I give some money through you for relief operation in Odisha? I said, welcome. I was helping some students of Reverend College for 10 months. I gave a choice to her. You have to pay me the money for 10 months of expenses of a student of Reverend College, or you have to pay a family at the rate of 500 rupees per month for 12 months. The lady immediately responded, he said, I am going to pay you for a student for 10 months. He sent me a check. I deposited a check. My brother was the superintendent. That boy was, I know the student actually, that he was not able to pay the money. He ran 80 kilometers to see whether parents are surviving or not after this cyclone by foot. That was the level at that time, calamity. So I deposited that money directly in the college office, and for 1 year actually, he was not worried. Passed out from the college without any difficulty. So I think radio, and then my submission is that I have also participated in Hudhud, then in a super cyclone, and also during Phylin. What I find, if you involve the student community, then that will be a lasting effect in society. If you are trying to move in the path of sustainable development, this community radio organizers are, I think, well, I must congratulate all of you those who are working for the benefit of the people, but try to rope in the young people and also people from academic community, because they don't have, most of them, those who are doing the service, they don't have any personal interest, vested interest. So, I think academic institutions in your locality should be roped in. If you can rope in them, I think we can, whatever you are able to, like delivering at the moment, your rate of success and rate of delivery will go up. So with these words, actually, let me once again thank the organizers to give me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you. Thank you very much. I wish the community radio a success in future. Thank you very much.